following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Put Me Over podcast, episode 106. I am your host, Andrew Gomez, a.k.a. The Miz, joined today by my lovely, wonderful, beautiful co-host to my left. He is the $100 man, Bobby Diaz.
We're in 106.
I like. Okay, there's the name of the title.
There you go.
Also joining the crew, you know him, you love him. He's the 10th wonder of the world, the puncher of walls, ticklish himself, Richard Garcia.
What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday.
Monday, but we are recording on Saturday.
We're recording on Saturday, but just still.
And also runner of the crew. Before the music's over, you know him, you love him. You probably hate him. He is a Pinoy powerhouse, the handsomest man alive, Byron Pacquiao.
What's up, guys? Power 106 for you guys. There we go. For our LA natives.
Yes.
Oh, man. Speaking of LA, it's on fire right now. It's
not just LA, just a lot of the country's on fire right now with what's been going on the past couple of days.
What happened to the coronavirus?
Yo, that's crazy, right? Like,
it's
nuts. Like,
Because
there's
people
so
are
many
going
people.
around. People are just going now. Now it's like, oh, we're kind of opening. All right, that means everything's open. So like everything, like protests, everything. Like, it's crazy.
It'll be a good test. I mean, I'm sure this is not the solution to finding the answer for coronavirus is having this riot, but it's insane, man.
Maybe the cure is lighting police cars on fire. Did we try that yet? We're trying it now. Everyone's
Trying it now.
Fine.
100% agree with it too.
We'll get back to it. We're wondering if that works.
Everyone should be able to burn a cop car for a little while. Just
Burns the germs.
The world is kind of falling apart again. So, but we're here to talk about some wrestling. Let's try to get your minds and thoughts off of what else is going on. Great show today, guys. We're gonna give you our double or nothing thoughts. Also talk about what happened on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and did WWE do the audience thing that AEW has been doing? Did they do it better? We're going to talk about that too. Before we get into that, I got to give it to our sponsors. You know them, you love them. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can see Bobby and Dick are both wearing their Grudge Match brand T-shirts that we just got from the guys at Grudge Match brand. Make sure you go turn on them notifications because they just dropped a Misfits La Parka shirt. And there's going to be even better stuff coming. So definitely go check them out. Grudge Match Brand on Instagram. Turn on them notifications. And also, we got to give it up to our good friends at Lapelia.com. If you're ever in the market for some wrestling merchandise, look no further. Go to Lapelia.com. Use the promo code Put Me Over. And in turn, that website will put you over. You get 20% off your entire order. Just check them out. They always have, like, hot new things coming out. They're doing, like, a tie-dye series right now, which is really cool. Like, old ROH shirts, tie-dye. Tie-dye's hot right now, I feel like. So make sure you go check them out. And if you want to pick up some of our merch, go to putmeover.com for all your Put Me Over merchandise wants and needs. Use the promo code KOFI4EVER for 10% off, 20% off. We're giving this stuff away at putmeover.com, putmeoverpodcast.com. And that's all the plugs, guys. I would swing it to the news. This is normally where we go into the news. But not a lot happened. I mean, other than Drew Gulak coming back, I feel like that was kind of newsworthy.
Yeah,
he did come back. He re-signed. As far as the amount goes, we don't know. But I mean, being honest, I mean, he was going to come back, given the situation, given the environment. There's really nowhere else for him to go aside from AEW.
I also noticed Kurt Angle was on NXT this week.
Yeah, I thought he was fired too. So this probably
SmackDown.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that when we get to the shows.
There's no terms on Gulak's deal at all, like no length of the.
Hasn't been disclosed. I'm sure when we get information, we'll talk about it. But it just seems like right now things are going. You hear about these 5-year deals, 3-year deals. I don't know how much it is, but once we hear something, then we'll talk about it. But I haven't heard anything as far as the amount or the length of the contract.
Hopefully, it's just like a 6-month deal.
Well,
coronavirus is over.
He left because they didn't want to give him more money, right? That was the whole reason. They gave him the same contract, and he was like, "No, I want more money." And they were like, "Yeah, dude, we're in a pandemic. It ain't happening." Even though WWE is making money, they were just like, nah, it ain't happening. So he left. But I guess they
he
must have gave him a little bit more, right?
He asked for more money, and then they're like, no. And in fact, now that first deal is off the table. Playing hardball during a pandemic is not cool.
Dude, I don't know. That's weird. They must have offered him a good amount, to be honest. Like it seemed like he was not talking shit, but on his way out.
He was ready.
Yeah, he was ready. So I'm glad they kept him though. He's a talent. They can really there's a place for him there. Not world champion talent yet, who knows, but we'll see.
I would like it, but yeah, we will see. So let's just get right into the shows. What do you guys think of Double or Nothing?
Real quickly though, before we get into it, I do want to mention something real quick. They did announce that Nigel McGuinness has been furloughed. So there's I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Yeah.
Wait, Joe was on commentary this week, right? With Morrow? Or who was on commentary with Morrow?
For what I noticed is that for NXT, it's been with Morrow and Beth Phoenix, and kind of like introducing the shows has been Tom Phillips. So Tom is kind of replacing Nigel for now.
That's crazy. Because Nigel and Morrow is like the best team.
That's the team.
I think that's the best team out of all of wrestling.
That's the A team in WWE for sure.
In anything, honestly, for real. I think Nigel is amazing at what he does.
I love Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, but Morrow is Morrow, you know. And then Nigel has like his like acumen, and then Morrow has like his like spiciness.
Right, the professional.
Together,
it was a perfect mixture. But Nigel's in the UK. I know he was working on NXT UK. He was being their color commentator for now. I've said this before. I think he's actually an actual announcer. He could be the lead guy if they wanted him. Because when I heard him in Ring of Honor as a lead guy, he was great.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get a better gig, I'd say go for it.
But we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen down the road. I'm sure once things start slowly opening up and there's an opportunity for things to go back to normal, I'm sure Nigel will find some work, whether if he might end up going back to WWE or he might find somewhere else in another company. He's way too valuable.
I'd say absolutely. Anything else? I've gotten word that the Buckle Bomb is now going to be retired.
There's a lot to talk about during Raw. So right off the bat, what do you guys think of the setup as far as number one, they're having plexiglass throughout the barricades, and then now they have the NXT or the PC trainees there being in the audience.
I do miss the empty arena. I don't know. That's just me. I think I'm just I love post-apocalyptic shit, but the energy is better. It's a little bit better, but aesthetically, I like the look of an empty arena. And it is good that it's not wrestlers in current storylines, because I think they look like fans. A lot of those guys are really tiny too, but like the NXT, those are all NXT guys, right? Like people who are training to be.
Yeah,
PC trainees.
I'm on the totally opposite side of that. I think it's stupid to have a bunch of scrubs out there that you've never heard of or seen before out there. At least get people that can have a storyline, so you can even build a storyline in the audience like AEW does. I feel like it was like a studio audience, like they told them what to clap, when to clap, who to boo. I felt like it was way too overproduced, where like you could tell they were faking reactions. I couldn't stand on Raw. Now on NXT and SmackDown, I feel like they pulled back on that a lot because they probably realized it looked stupid. But they would cut to people and people would be like selling like they're the Brock Lesnar guy. When, you know, I don't know. It just was very overproduced on Raw.
That's what I noticed too when they first did it with Raw. I felt a little contrived, but then after I got used to it from SmackDown and NXT, or they did change it where it became a little more tolerable.
Well, they didn't cut to them as much as they did the first time.
I mean, it was the first time they're doing it, so maybe it was like a work in progress. And they saw how stupid it looked, so they were like, "Hey, man, let's tone it down a bit."
Well, I would like it if they did something like that, where one of the just for like show identity, where they can have like Raw be just the total TV audience be exaggerating, just so there's a difference in each show, more so than just who wrestles on what, like a different vibe for each show. I think that's what's missing in the post quarantine times or quarantine times. Is I show identity. You know what I mean? Like something that can really, what to expect from week to week. So
because the sets are still pretty much the same, right?
they're exactly the same, just different colors, in my opinion.
I mean, it's been like that for a long time, but yeah, you're right.
Right.
They got to do something, and if they're down to try stuff and not be so hard headed and be like, you know what, we can't make it look like we're copying AEW. They finally bit the bullet, and we're like, this is gonna help the show.
What made you guys think that they the reason why they finally bit the bullet to do exactly what AEW has been doing this whole time?
I think the number one reason I think they brought those people out, maybe for energy, but I think they want to test out those plexiglass and see kind of a test run, if that can work, or how they see it working potentially with real fans. Like a test run for that. That's the main reason, I think. It does bring a little bit of energy too when you bang on it like a hockey game. I noticed that gets kind of hype, to be honest.
Dude, that would be interesting. Sick. That's actually a good idea.
I think they waited till they had something that was different than just AEW having because that's a whole different thing. Now it's like a hockey. Yeah, like you said.
I'm a fan of the plexiglass. I think that shit's tight.
But, yeah.
I think overall, though, it's really because of the ratings. When it comes down to it, the ratings for Raw have been going down steadily each week. Raw hit another low during this time. And
wait, you mean Baron Corbin coming over from SmackDown didn't help the ratings?
Nope.
And his weird-ass tights, too.
Wow.
Weird-ass.
And
you have fans, shocker.
You also have fans that are probably tuning out because they want to come back and watch when there's actually a live audience, when there's some sort of audience in there. Because for many, watching wrestling when there's no one there, where it's very silent, is difficult. It's not the same. And
Raw's been really hard to watch Raw.
It really has. And they finally decide, you know what, now's the time. I mean, shit, look at the ratings. They're starting to dip. People are starting to tune out of Raw, really tune out of WWE product in general for since the quarantine, since the lockdown had started. So now they're trying something different. Maybe getting the audience back will help out a little bit. Maybe it's helping out for SmackDown and NXT because the ratings were up this week. Raw, not so much, but again, it was on a Monday. It was on a holiday.
Yeah. I do agree with Byron that this is more like a test to see how it would work out with a real audience.
They're going to need thicker plexiglass, though. If they wanted to, they're going to need something thicker and bigger. That's what she said.
I could see a potential accidents, like how the glass could break if fans get too crazy. Real fans, you can't control those marks, bro. But I like it. I hope they keep it moving forward even after quarantine. I think it keeps it like a Coliseum type feel too. Like you're in the action, like a bubble. It's kind of tight.
I could see that working for sure. I'm actually kind of excited now. I hope they keep it.
They're gonna have some gimmick ones too, or like wrestlers will get thrown through it for sure, 100%.
Yeah, but do you think over time fans will get over it, especially if there's light glare off the It's already bad enough when people have lights on them during the whole show, in the nosebleeds. They have fucking spotlights directly on people. I've sat in the spotlight and it sucked.
Oh, that's horrible.
Do you think over time people are gonna be we can't see because there's a light glaring perfectly on the plexiglass?
I mean, that is production that could be like a damper on the whole thing. And it's not like you can fog it or anything, because then it would make it impossible to see through, and it would ruin those front row seats that you pay hundreds of dollars to get to.
Yeah.
So
not the guy that takes his mom to all the shows, but for most people.
Yeah,
or
neon green shirt.
Yeah, neon green shirt guy. Sign guy, Brock Lesnar guy, they don't have to pay anything.
Fuck those guys. They don't? Do you know the deal on those guys, by the way? I still always wonder when I see them, how are you affording all this? Are they just rich?
They might be rich, but I mean, how do you get into every show in the same seat?
Right.
You have to know somebody.
And flying to all those places.
Yeah. Because even that green shirt guy was on AEW too in the same fucking spot.
Yeah, that motherfucker knows somebody, or he's filthy fucking rich.
Maybe.
Playing those stocks.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of how Raw did it. NXT, I felt, and SmackDown to a certain extent did it a lot better. What happened on Raw? Did anything really happen?
I don't remember. Is that Lashley? Lashley's on Raw, right? Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's on Raw.
I'm a fan of that new partnership with MVP. Lashley MVP. To me, it's probably a big deal. I could honestly, with pairing him with MVP, makes him a legitimate title threat, even though he's not going to win. And coinciding with the crazy times we're living in right now, it's a good ass move because MVP can talk his little ass off, man.
It's time to get
for a while.
It's time to get Bobby Lashley. I was going to say Bobby Lee. Bobby Diaz.
Bobby right here.
It's time to get Bobby Lashley taken seriously. Like, he's been a joke for so long. He's been like just like a joke, basically. I mean, you taking it like the wedding and his loving his mom and his sisters, and like he needs to just be a killer. He needs to be a guy that we're excited to fight Brock Lesnar. You know.
I mean, yeah, he should be like the Brock Lesnar type guy, like that can take him on, like Braun, and like that, like the way they first brought in Braun and like how he was just this powerhouse, and he like boosted like to the ceiling, and they kind of like held off on it. Like I feel like why didn't they do that with him? He was easily, dude. He's so like ripped, and he's like a big guy like Brock Lesnar.
Not a bad wrestler either.
Undefeated in Bellator.
No.
Dude, is he really?
Yeah.
Wow. So that you can even legitimize that. And, the fact that he is a decent performer, dude. He's pretty good in the ring.
Just can't talk.
Just can't talk at all. And the fact that MVP brought it up, like, this is his first time after all these years getting a real shot at a title. Like, I think it's...
it's funny that he said that, but he did actually have a title shot back in 2007.
He needed to get fact-checked like Trump. He needed to get fact-checked like Trump.
Yeah, because when MVP made that promo, I was like, I heard that. I was like, nope. I remember he had a match. I remember there was a program with him and John Cena back in 2007.
He got dick checked right there for sure.
That was 13 years ago, though.
That was 13 years ago, but I get the point behind it. Like, Lashley really didn't have a title opportunity, and that's what they're trying to build up. It's like that MVP felt that Lashley was being disrespected. And if you look at his career in WWE when he came back, yeah, you could absolutely say that. He should really be in a much higher position than where he's at right now. And you could see that, him and Lana, they're going to phase her out and make him a valid contender for the championship. Because let's face it right now, Raw, they need credible contenders. And really, both shows need credible contenders. And when you have your roster split in half, you have to create stars. You have to create talent.
Absolutely, like 1,000% yes. And that's probably the thing that's killing them the most is that they have Roman Reigns, who's not even there right now. Charlotte, who's going to she's just whoring herself out to every promotion. And then the list gets you have Seth Rollins, but after that, it starts falling apart.
That's a perfect segue, too, because I think another highlight of Raw, as bad as it's been, is that new faction and that music. I hated it at first, but it's kind of cool. I think Seth is doing some good work, and adding Austin Theory to that is fucking mage to me.
Yeah, and dude, imagine when they get the AOP back. If they bring them back, like that's an unstoppable team.
Right.
Like, that's Inner Circle on steroids.
Right.
It's a dominant Raw faction.
Yeah.
Which, we've been told that Vince hates.
You mentioned his Austin Theory's name. He's the guy that's benefited the most from this.
Yeah, he's killing it.
As far as aside from Sammy Guevara in AEW, you look at someone who's benefiting in WWE during this time. It's been Austin Theory
and the Mexicans.
I would say Angel Garza to a certain extent too.
I mean, to me, Austin
beat Kevin Owens clean.
Right, he did. He did beat him pretty clean. But with Austin Theory, just a year ago, he was in Evolve. He was slowly coming up the ranks of Evolve, making his way into NXT because that was going to be the next logical step. But as soon as the pandemic happened and they were short on talent, Austin Theory answered the challenge. He got really, you could say he got fast tracked to the main roster in a relatively short time. I mean, hell, he was even on WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the future is very bright for him.
He reminds me a lot of Finn Balor.
He does. He's just as good looking.
Not
as ripped. Yeah.
Not as ripped, obviously.
Bigger body, though.
Is like super athletic and like can do good shit.
Potential champ in the future. For
sure.
Yeah.
Cool name too.
Yeah.
Austin Theory. Like that just sounds cool.
Hey, you all gay?
Yeah.
he has that look where I think like he hits all the checkpoints as far as what would be a future WWE champion, future main eventer. He hits all those check marks.
Yeah. Speaking of someone getting a championship, we got to talk about Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah, how
the
you missed
new
that?
United States champion. Do you think it was time that they finally put the belt on Apollo to give him some legitimacy, or is this too late?
I think it was shocking for one, which I loved. Like I did not expect that. And to be honest, his post match speech wasn't bad. Like he's
getting better on the mic.
Right, he is who he is now. Like I think he's starting to ease into it. This kind of helps him relax because I feel like he's been a little tight, even in his promos, knowing that he has all this in-ring potential, but his personality's not there. Just be yourself, dude. Just be yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah,
that big old smile, dude.
Big old smile,
dude. I'm like
beautiful teeth.
Yeah, beautiful teeth.
Beautiful smile.
You're supposed to be like a hard guy, like beat up somebody. Relax with the smiling.
No, but I'm okay with Apollo winning the championship. I think they're really more so trying to tell the story of Ziggler's faction breaking up little by little. Because I mean, first Austin Theory was kicked out. Now, I mean, where they're going with it, you're starting to see tension between Andrade and Angel Garza.
I think
we're going to see the eventual breakup.
You gotta ride these guys out, man. I think they're better together than separate.
Right.
I think for now, yes, but down the road, that they're aiming for that feud to happen.
Well, maybe Andrade gets a world title, like a tier. He gets a tier bump, hopefully.
My fucking fingers are crossed for that shit, dude.
Because he deserves it.
Andrade is probably one of my favorite guys on Raw, easily.
I agree.
They're easily pulling the trigger on like
Bobby.
They're easily pulling the trigger on separating them like too quick.
Yeah, it's way too quick.
I think they need to pump the brakes on that, let it build a little bit more, and
that's just WWE's problem.
Huge.
That's WWE's problem. They are so impatient. They want to tell their story like in one night. When I think the slow build and like the payoff of like look at Daniel Bryan finally winning the title, or actually that might have been the longest running storyline they've done in a long time.
That's the longest.
It takes a long time. It takes a long time, but once you get that moment, it's so like it's gonna blow the roof off everything unless there's no one.
Especially
maybe this makes sense.
Especially when you have these two guys and they're partners, and when they finally do split, you can kind of you can choose a side. I don't know which side I'm choosing with them too.
No.
So it's like I don't. They're both good.
Right.
So am I going to choose a side? No, because they haven't really built that story to let me invest in one of them.
That's a good ass point.
Yeah, that's really good. What else happened?
There's something I want to talk about real quick though, and that was during the beginning of Raw, where there was a segment involving where the KO show had opened up Raw and introduced the contenders for who's going to be the number one contender for the Raw Women's Champion, and it did break into like a melee, but a couple things that one of them involved Nia Jax, and here's some news I wanted to mention real quick, some stuff I wanted to talk about. Earlier this week, WWE did put an announcement saying that they have added the buckle bomb as a move that's going to be banned from here on out. Not sure you guys heard about that.
Good.
I did, but I mean, it's hurt people. I've been told that it's a really easy move to do. You just power bomb into you basically stand up.
Yeah.
But if you're
pretty much just catching yourself on the
ropes.
On the ropes, and then you're just kind of putting your feet down. It's not really that much of a hard move, but when you have someone like Nia Jax who easily will
just hurt somebody. Yeah.
And for those that don't know what we're talking about, it was about a couple weeks ago on Raw where she did do a buckle bomb on Kairi Sane. It looked like she shot her a little too short, where her head hit the bottom turnbuckle,
the
middle turnbuckle, and it did not look very comfortable.
Her lower back hit the bottom rope, but her head hit the middle rope.
Yeah, and there's no way to catch yourself or anything. She wasn't ready for it. She easily hurt her. There's no way out of it. She easily did a terrible like stunt, and it just, you could see the reason why they decided to ban it.
I mean, it did retire Sting too.
Yeah.
And it fucked up Finn Balor's arm.
Now with that right there, here's the thing right there. When we said earlier, like, oh yeah, it's pretty easy because you're supposed to really you were supposed to land standing up after that happened. But when you do it outside, you don't have that. I mean, and look how Seth did it to Finn Balor when he did it at a SummerSlam a couple years ago. Number one, he didn't hit the barricade.
Yeah,
it looked like he really fell short. And Finn, to try to compensate, he ended up breaking his arm. He was out for almost an entire year.
Jeez, yeah.
Okay, so
and he just won the Universal title too.
And he just won the Universal title as well.
I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that they banned the buckle bomb? Will they ban KO's power bomb into the ring, at the outside of the ring, like on the apron, on the aprons?
It's basically a buckle bomb.
I mean, that's basically the same thing, and if anything, that's worse than a buckle bomb.
It is. It is. I don't see it happening because then they could say, well, no one got injured from that move.
Although it does, dude, it looks like it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a big fan. I mean, I don't say I'm not a big fan of moves on the apron. I think that it's being used a little too much. But one false move and you could really hurt someone.
Yeah.
I think the power bomb in general is just a scary thing. You're just falling wherever they put you, basically. It looks awesome. Powerbomb is probably one of my favorite wrestling moves.
One of the most devastating looking moves too. It's so sick.
That has a cool ass name, the Powerbomb.
Dude, you get Powerbomb. And I hate that people use it as a secondary move now too. You know what I mean? That's a finisher all the way.
Psycho Sid did the best one. I mean, when I was growing up.
Right.
Whenever he gave someone a powerbomb, or I mean, Kevin Nash first to a certain extent. Whenever they got hit with a powerbomb, it was over. That was the end of the match.
Dick, maybe, I don't know if you know who you're, Mr. Historian about wrestling. You know almost everything. Which one came first, the Razor's Edge or the Powerbomb?
Oh, that's a good call.
Powerbomb.
Yeah.
Powerbomb came first. Well, like when Scott Hall used the power, when he used the Razor's Edge, I'm sure he got it from a lot of the moves. He came from Japan, but I remember the Powerbomb being used a lot in the late '80s, early '90s.
Okay.
The Razor's Edge, I mean, Scott Hall did use it probably as early as maybe like around the same time frame. And basically, the Razor's Edge is just a variation of the Powerball.
Yeah,
right. It's a safer way to drop you.
Way safer.
It's definitely a variation.
Like dropping him on the apron.
Yeah.
How Scott Hall did it back in the day, he didn't do it gently. Like he would just chuck you.
Right.
He would accordion people, scorpion themselves.
Yeah.
Although the best powerbomb was probably Kevin Nash because he did it like with a gangsta, like let you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just toss you and you're done.
Oh yeah.
You're falling from this high now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick you up and then you're on your own, buddy.
Figure it out.
Hope you land good.
Something I thought that was really weird. Well, not really weird, but something that was like, that was a weird thing. They have a song from Panic at the Disco called "The Greatest Show on Earth" for like this match or this pay-per-view coming up. But you have like this intense promo from like Edge and Randy Orton, and like they're talking about, putting on this match, and they're gonna go for blood, and they're gonna really go after each other. And then you just have this like pop song playing right after that. Like it kind of killed the moment for me after they finished like being so intense. That was just something I noticed that bothered me.
WWE. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, also, like, later on, I'm glad you mentioned that promo, because later on, when Ric Flair was doing his promo, I kind of felt a little sick to my stomach when he was trying to hype up the greatest match ever, because Flair himself has been in many matches that could be considered one of the greatest matches of all time. And they're really going hard on this. They're really going hard with this, with the hype with the greatest match ever. And to me, they're either doing two things. They're either A, trolling the fans, or B, they're setting these guys up to an impossible standard that they know they can't deliver.
Absolutely. I also think that they're just doing it because they want people to watch this. So they're going to, they're pulling out some tricks to like get people to watch this pay-per-view. there's no way that this match is going to be the greatest match ever. There's
No.
0.01% this will be the greatest match ever.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely. It's not even a top 10 match. If it is, then fuck, I'll be happy because it'll prove us wrong. But it's a big ask.
And usually when you say greatest match ever, it's always after the fact. Like, okay, like now we can grade objectively. But to say it before that, I mean, to me, you're just setting these guys up to fail, or they're just trolling the fans.
Yeah, what match was being promoted and they said it's going to be the greatest match ever, and then it actually lived up to that. I feel like everyone that said that was the greatest match ever was, like you said, Dick, after the match. Like, wow, that was a fucking one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. All right, time to sit down. I got my popcorn. This is going to be the greatest match ever. Like, that's never happened.
Never, ever.
They're setting that standard way too high. So I think they shot themselves in the foot with that one. But that's just my take.
Speaking of shooting yourself in the foot, let's talk about SmackDown. And it started off, honestly, they had me for like 10 seconds, the way that the show opened up. They had Elias on a stretcher. Renee Young was like, breaking news, everyone. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Elias has been hit by a car. And then I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then they get these like rent-a-cop bad actors to like go and like search the car, but with like it's not a police scene. They're just letting Renee Young and referees and the WWE camera crew walk around. Like, it's weird when they do these real life things, but it's still wrestling.
They said it was a police scene, and the way it came off was just so, like you said, so rent-a-cop, so cartoonish, so it was just not. It didn't come off very well, and especially considering that later on we see Jeff Hardy in the bushes, kind of it looked like he got beat up / he was drunk, because they did find a bottle of Jim Beam in the car. Obviously, they were playing off of when Jeff Hardy got arrested for multiple DUIs over the past year. So they're definitely playing into that.
What do you guys think about that?
I think this is all bad taste. They should not be doing this. And it's such a joke.
I'm not a fan of it. Was it entertaining? Yes, but maybe put someone that's not Jeff Hardy in that situation.
And mind you, we're recording this Saturday, and the show was on Friday. The internet already found out the wrestlers who were the cops, so it was that quick. They weren't even real cops.
Well, no, obviously,
of course not.
Like, they never
so it's
are.
like, well, yeah, but like, you know, like it was that quick to find out who they were, and they're like indie wrestlers.
Yeah, they usually get like their talent from like indie guys, but it didn't come off. I mean, I don't know. I was entertained because I was like, wow, this is something new that I haven't seen on wrestling for a while. And then I slowly figure out that they're looking for Jeff. Oh, conveniently, like the registration falls down and the cop's like, Jeff Hardy, and then I was like, okay, this is lame now.
And also, Elias was injured in that accident. So if you notice right away, those guys were supposed to have a match against Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles respectively for the in the IC Championship tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Braun Strowman was on the scene. I wish they could have gotten like R-Truth to do like ain't nobody got time for that kind of moment. I thought that would have been awesome.
Even though it was like 10 years too late.
But see,
that's the WWE way.
But see, that's the thing is I think WWE misses these funny moments. And there could have been like a few jib jabs in there like for funny moments. But
I think they wanted to play this straight.
Super serious.
I think if they should have played it more funny, I would have loved it more. But I guess let's just play off the drunken Jeff Hardy angle. Let's do that.
It's not the first time that they've done that, where they played off of Jeff Hardy's real life. No, I'm talking about Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy. This isn't the first time that they've played off his real life issues as well, because they also played off the time where he was having a real bad drug problem right before he left 10 years ago, as a matter of fact. And they did an angle where he was it appeared like he was passed out in the stairway.
So anniversary of it then? Is that what they're doing? Anniversary. I'm not sure if it was an anniversary.
It might have been during Survivor Series or during if it was a SmackDown show or not. But they've done this before with Jeff Hardy, where they would play up his real life struggles or his real life problems with the law.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's nothing new. And then you have the Scott Hall thing. Like these angles never are like, wow, remember that angle when Jeff Hardy was drunk? No one talks about that. Unless it's to talk about worst angles of all time.
Or to make me laugh. I find these so hilariously bad. Hilariously bad. It's so fun.
I mean, then you have like Matt Hardy and Rebby Hardy coming out on Twitter and saying like, "Oh, I'm so glad that I work in AEW now," and Rebby says like, "Oh, I'm gonna toss my TV out. I can't believe this," or whatever. You know, it's
because they're playing up his real life struggles.
Yeah,
I mean, Jeff agreed to it, but how much of it is like, well, you better do this angle, or you're gonna be in a doghouse.
Remember Jeff Hardy's thing? That shit still cracks me. That shit still cracks me up, bro.
That was so bad, dude.
So sad. Bad. So sad, but still so funny to me. Sorry, guys, but that's fun.
They've been showing these things like the rise and fall and rise again of Jeff Hardy, these vignettes, and then you think like, okay, now Jeff Hardy is either guilty or someone framed him, and then in the next scene they basically give away who was actually behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Well, that storyline did play throughout the show because backstage they were announcing like, well, it appears Elias and Jeff Hardy can't compete, so therefore AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan get a bye to the finals. AJ wanted to take it. He's like, you know what, I'm cool with it. I don't have to wrestle tonight. Fine by me. Daniel Bryan, on the other hand, didn't like that idea, and he really wanted a challenge. So they came up with the idea of the Battle Royal, in which case Sheamus won. And that played into the match later on because this was a storyline throughout the show.
Yeah,
they did have a match. Daniel Bryan Sheamus, which I thought was a good match, given for what it was.
Yeah,
but if you notice toward the end, Jeff Hardy did come out stumbling, which kind of explains like, wait, how did he get released so quickly during this time?
That was the first thing I said. Was like, how did he get released? Where are the handcuffs? Because there's no way the cops let him go that quick for an accident that he ran over somebody. No way.
After the show, they tweeted out, WWE.com tweeted out a statement saying that he passed all the sobriety tests and he's not a suspect.
Oh.
Wow.
Which, I mean, this could lead to the hacker coming, Ali. Obviously, it's Ali. But the hacker being like, I have the footage of what really happened. That could be the way to introduce him. It's clearly Sheamus. It's clearly Sheamus.
It's Sheamus, and even he went after Sheamus. Pissed off about it, so
that's why I think it's Sheamus.
It's Sheamus.
It better be.
Beat him up.
That's all I say.
He beat him up, threw him in the bushes, dumped the liquor all over him, and crashed into Elias. So now Sheamus is going to be in some federal pound me in the ass prison for all this. I feel like
he is.
He's gonna. I don't think you can solve this this crime with a match at SummerSlam.
No.
You got to throw him in the Summer Slammer, dude.
That's SummerSlammer match at SummerSlam.
Holy shit! Remember Chad Gable?
Oh, he's back with better tights. Thank God.
Better tights, showing off all those abs.
Yep. Good for him.
And he got a surprise win on Cesaro. I thought that was really cool.
I think he's in for a push. He's in for a big time push. He deserves it. I think.
Bro, we've said this. It's not going to happen.
We'll see.
Too little, too late.
His name is Shorty G. His name is Shorty G. It's not going to happen.
If Rey Mysterio could win a title, I believe Shorty G can. But Rey Mysterio is a different level, though. Let's be honest. Rey Mysterio is a god of cruiserweights.
That's two separate things you're comparing to.
Yeah. Apples and oranges.
The name Rey Mysterio and Shorty G are two very different names. On a marquee, I could see Rey Mysterio. On a marquee headlining Madison Square Garden, Shorty G. It's not gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, no asses in the seats that night.
No butts in seats.
No.
What else?
One thing I do love, I think you guys will agree with me on this, is the Mandy and Otis segment.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
I love entertainment done right. Yeah, at first I was like, all right, this is lame, and then I got into it. I was like, oh, now I'm getting a boner. Okay, let's see.
Now we're talking.
It reminds me of all those old school WWE promos, like the Mr. Perfect stuff and all that stuff.
The Razor Ramon vignettes.
Yeah, that shit. That's just what we want, people. Like, it's time to the world is so shitty right now. I think adding these kind of vignettes is what we need right now.
Yeah.
And they clearly played off of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was great. I haven't laughed at a WWE promo in a long time, and like where it's like a legit laughter.
Yeah,
that they've did whoever came up with that idea, well done. Mandy and Otis obviously did their parts perfectly. You can tell they have great chemistry on camera.
Yeah, I will never think of Phoebe Cates the same again. I'm just gonna picture Otis every single time.
It's Otis now, yeah.
They need to put up a link to like Mr. Skin for like the Otis scene for that. I also thought they did a Sandlot reference. I don't know. I could be the only one, but remember in the Sandlot when Porter jumps and does a cannonball in the pool and he wets all the girls because of his power bomb because he's so big.
I remember
that,
but I didn't pierce it together. But yeah, I think also I wouldn't be surprised if they also use that as a reference for this promo.
Because he's fat.
Yeah,
exactly.
Whoever wrote that needs a raise for sure.
Yeah, that's something that we will praise for sure. It was fun, and I watch wrestling because I want to have fun.
Exactly.
Something else that's fun that is going to be fun for maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. Is the arrival of Matt Riddle to SmackDown.
Interesting. I thought he still had some left.
Let's talk about that real quick. I'm glad you brought that up. So, Kurt Angle did have a promo on SmackDown. It's probably like one of his the last thing he's doing contractually obligated WWE since he was let go as part of the huge talent cut.
Do you think he's on like a we'll call you when we need you, but you're not an employee, but you know we'll call on you if we need you.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
There's always that possibility.
Keep that phone line open, brother.
I mean, they could also put him in a Legends deal, but they decided not to do that.
Yeah,
they ain't doing that.
What were you saying, Dick, about the?
Anyways, so to throw a little context in it, Kurt Angle did have a promo on SmackDown. In the beginning, he was also part of hyping up the greatest wrestling match ever. Which, coming from Kurt Angle, I'm sure he's like, "Fuck, really?"
Yeah, he's like, "Wait, I had a match with Shawn Michaels."
I'm better than you guys.
He's had many great matches.
Hold on a second,
and he has to go in there and hype this up. But more importantly, he did announce the arrival of Matt Riddle, and this was reported publicly, and him coming to SmackDown, which I'm all for it. Little side note with why he's going to SmackDown. They did play the angle in NXT where he did have a match with Timothy Thatcher. Great wrestling match, by the way.
Yeah, cage too. That's a really cool cage. Side note, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and as part of tradition, he put over Thatcher, and now he's on SmackDown. It's time for Riddle to be on the main roster. Do I trust that they're going to do well with Riddle? No, because Vince McMahon doesn't get Matt Riddle. I don't think he gets him.
He's came out and said it. He doesn't get it.
I'm worried for him. I feel like he might be a flash in the pan. I don't think he's going to be going for a world. Imagine him versus Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman just gives him a power slam and it's over. He's going to be another Cesaro, I feel like. Just a good guy. He can put on good matches, but you are mid-card fodder at best, brother.
But some shoes on too, man.
But he has
That's probably why Vince doesn't like him. Huh?
He has way more charisma than Cesaro. Not that Cesaro has no charisma. It's just that.
We could say that.
Yeah, I could say that.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can. But then again, Cesaro doesn't really have the opportunity to show what he can really do at the same time. So that's why I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But you look at Riddle, the guy can talk. The guy can be in the ring. He can work. Whatever was given to him in NXT, I mean, as much chicken shit he got, he made it into a chicken salad.
And now we might get him versus Goldberg.
Goldberg is not very fond of him.
Or I'm sorry, him versus Brock.
Brock is not very fond of him either.
No, Brock's on SmackDown.
Brock already said he does not want to ever have a match with him. But you're talking Vince will make it happen.
I remember hearing
we'll see what happens.
Bruno Sammartino saying I'll never be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it can absolutely happen.
Shawn Michaels wrestled that shitty match. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I honestly think he would have been better on Raw because I think Paul Heyman can obviously work his magic, and he's a Matt Riddle fan.
He can make RVD part 2.
Yeah, he basically is that, really, as a character.
Cage fighting RVD.
He's a cage fighting Spicoli.
Yeah, exactly.
How long?
Another Fast Times at Ridgemont High reference.
Another Fast Times.
How long do you think before Vince makes him wear boots?
2 weeks.
He's gonna have another injury like Rusev and then come back wearing.
He should wear. I'm not a fan of the slipper thing because that shit is you can't execute the same. I don't think if you have bare feet. Just I don't know.
It's a way to give a souvenir to a kid. Maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a way to sell merch too.
Here's some fungus, kid.
Yeah, have some athletes foot.
Here's some athletes foot.
Gross.
I guess that explains why he has a mushroom tat on his. On his
Oh yeah, Vince is already out.
His shirt
Vince is already. The finals for the Intercontinental title: AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. We all called it. Well, I didn't call this, but you guys called this. I kind of got excited when Sheamus put himself. I was like, all right, Sheamus, second chance. He's gonna win the title now.
Yo, me too. I was like, fucking A. Are you serious?
Oh my gosh,
it was a tease.
Yeah.
Good match too. Sheamus can always perform, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah. And then they went back to their history. They have Sheamus and Daniel Bryan are always going to be linked from that 18-second match.
And speaking of Sheamus, I think a great first opponent for Riddle is Sheamus.
Yeah, well, I think Sheamus is going to be locked up with Jeff Hardy for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after the feud's over,
Hey.
because it ties into what Sheamus
I
was
saw what I
saying
did
about.
there.
There you go.
I got it.
Locked up.
I get it now. SummerSlammer match.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. And, but he was like with Sheamus because he did he wasn't very impressed with Riddle coming in, so I think that you could play off of that once Riddle eventually does get here. I mean, I'm not sure if it's going to debut next week or not, but the plan is that he's going to be in SmackDown, and once he's done with Jeff Hardy, you can put him in there with Matt Riddle, and Sheamus has no problem. I'm sure he has no problem putting over Matt Riddle and making.
I hope they don't play an angle like they've been doing with everybody else that's Mexican, and be like, I looked up to Jeff Hardy, and you framed it. Like, if they go that route, I'm gonna hate it so much.
Oh, with Matt Riddle?
Yes.
No. That they should not do that at all.
It can't be that. I don't know. I feel like that maybe that's how they get to it. I think Ali's also gonna be the one that's gonna be like, I have the footage, and then play it. But yeah, so next week we'll have a new Intercontinental Champion until Sami Zayn comes back, and then we can have a ladder match. Do you guys want to talk about NXT real quick?
A cage match, I do. I'm a fan of that new scaffold cage.
That it reminded me of the Lions Den match.
Right.
In the Attitude Era. Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman. Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart. Wasn't it, what's his name? The guy with the mustache?
Dan Severn?
Dan Severn. Didn't he have a Lions Den match too with someone?
I think he was referee in one of them.
Or he was a referee, I think, for the Steve Blackman.
I think he was referee in one of them.
Yeah, but it totally reminded me of that. Which, I mean, it was cool. And I liked it too. I really liked the way it was built. I liked that they fought on top of it. That was probably my highlight of NXT was that Lions Den match. Or what are the NXT Fight Pit?
Interesting
it was a fight
finish
match
too, right? What'd you guys think of that finish? I thought it was kind of a weird way to send off Riddle.
A guy with an MMA background?
Yeah. He went out real quick.
Yeah. Well, I like that Angle did the 3-armed thing.
Right.
Just like, I was like, oh, we're wrestling. Okay, I get it.
That's the value of Kurt Angle.
But like I said, I thought it was a great match, great change. You definitely played to their strengths. Riddle's an MMA fighter. Timothy Thatcher's
great wrestler,
a ring wrestler, shoot wrestler. So they definitely played to their strengths, and
it felt like it had a real fight feel to it.
It did. It absolutely did. And like I said, you help put Thatcher over, and that's the one thing you do when you leave a territory, leave a promotion, is you try to get the other guy over.
Yeah. The triple threat at the beginning I thought was a really good match too. And we got worked by Drake Maverick, right? I think we're all in agreement that we got worked by Drake Maverick.
Yeah, 100%.
Is he going to be the cruiserweight champion? Because it's going to be
no
Phantasma versus Drake Maverick. I don't think he's going to win, but I don't think he's going to win this match either.
I don't think he's going to win. I still don't think he's going to win. They're really riding this wave with Drake Maverick. We'll see. I mean, I'm not completely sold that he's re-signed. I still think that. I mean, look at Kurt Angle. I mean, Kurt Angle, when they announced that Kurt Angle was released, he ended up doing a couple more things for WWE. I mean, he was a referee for that cage match. He did a promo.
Gulak is back.
Exactly. So, who knows? I still don't think he's going to resign, but we'll see. It was kind of a weird ending with that match.
I liked it.
It was. I mean, it was weird in that it looked like that Atlas did tap out, and Kushida could say, "Well, no, he tapped out. I won, but here you go. You go ahead and try to get your job because the whole point of it is that if Maverick loses, he's out of a job."
Yeah, I mean that part I agree with you on, but I like that there was like a little controversy at the end. I was kind of hoping for like another referee, to come out and be like, no. But they pick and choose when they want to use those spots,
Absolutely.
We're gonna get probably a mixed tag match pretty soon with Gargano and Keith Lee. What do you guys think of the parody they did of Candice and Johnny with him and Keith Lee? I thought it was awesome.
I think Keith Lee has crossover success written all over him too. After wrestling, he can be a fucking comedic actor. Like I tell you guys to watch that movie he's in, bro, on Netflix. So watch it.
Which one?
I forgot. It's the one with the wrestling. It's a Netflix original, but it's partnered up with WWE. He's one of the stars of it.
Oh, the mask one, right?
Yeah. But dude, even when he was talking, his charisma, he's a comedic actor. Or like I can see him being in feature films like The Rock was. Honestly,
the Keith Lee show.
Yeah, he's the shit, man.
I love Keith Lee.
I wasn't a fan of the segment. To me it felt kind of flat. I don't know. It's just something about it that I just was not a fan of.
I like that they were kind of just ragging on them, like how ridiculous it is when like the music, like no, you need to speak into this, and then the lights go out and the music goes on, and then you have to like speak differently. I thought that was funny.
And then Tegan Knox eating the pizza with. I don't know. I just wasn't that big of a fan on it, but I mean, yeah, that's really all I could say about that.
But other than that, I feel like not a lot happened on NXT too. Even though I feel like I had fun watching it.
Yeah, it's still an entertaining show, but until we get In Your House, I think that's when they'll raise the stakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Next week.
What do you guys think of Double or Nothing? We all kind of watched it together for the most part. We're gonna switch up to
AEW.
I thought it was slightly a disappointing pay-per-view. I just wasn't. That last match was good. I watched. No, I'm not even hating. Like as far
go for it.
As far as like, it was just like a show during the week to me. You know what I mean? There's nothing particularly special. That whole Brian Cage thing was kind of weird. I thought they were gonna value like opportunities and they're gonna give it to a random guy to get in the number one contender match. Like, I don't know. There's just no real big standouts other than that Sean Spears is going to be the jobber of jobbers. But I don't know. We saw Mr. Peyton Royce. That's how it's starting to get bad.
I thought it was good, but some of the matches were way too long.
They drag.
For sure.
What was it, the Moxley Lee match? I felt like went like maybe 5-10 minutes too long.
The Cody match went too long.
Yeah. The TNT title, I'm not really a fan of.
Ooh,
it's ugly.
They had Tyson yawning.
From what they presented on the pay-per-view, I am not a fan of it either. But again, they say it's not the final product, so I'm withholding judgment till I see the final product. But
it's like they knew this belt isn't that nice. We need to make sure we let everyone know that we're going to make it better.
Yeah, but overall, I think that the Stampede match, hilarious.
That was worth the price of admissions. I would have paid $50 just for that match.
For real, dude.
One thing the quarantine is doing is giving all these, giving the wrestlers so much more creative freedom on like the way to make these kind of matches. So that's the big blessing.
Yeah, and they did the movie magic and made that match like over the top funny, and it was just when Matt Hardy came out of the water, it was like what is it? They're the rejuvenation.
He was reincarnated.
Yeah, and
like 3 different times.
It was
3 different times.
Hilarious.
Matt Hardy is the character, bro. He's so good.
Dude.
And
Can
then
you
on
talk about
Dynamite,
tell two Hardys?
And then on Dynamite, they're like, "Oh, we want the old Matt Hardy," and he comes out dressed as one of the Hardy Boys, and they're like, "No, we want to go back even further." And he comes out dressed as I think his name was like High Voltage or something like that. When
He was Matt Hardy 98.
No, he was going by he was going by High Voltage. That was his name or his tag team name or something like that. But yeah, back when they were backyard wrestlers, which I thought was a cool touch.
Oh, you mean the Omega days?
Yes, not New Omega. That was the Wrestling Federation that I was in. Just Omega.
But
yeah,
for me, for Double or Nothing, overall, it was a great pay-per-view. Some of the
MJF and Jungle Boy.
That was to me, it was a phenomenal match.
That was probably my favorite match on the whole show.
I mean, if I had to pick a match, I would say that match was up there. I was a fan of the Moxley Brody Lee match, even though it did go on a little too long. Brody Lee's great in the ring, and so was Moxley in that environment. I thought they delivered, but going back to MJF and Jungle Boy, I thought they really blew it away with that match. I had no problems with that match whatsoever.
Also, hold on one second. I just got to announce something real quick. You're
go ahead.
Defending undisputed pay-per-view champion of the world, your boy, the Mez, A3K, Andrew Gomez. Called it again. Can you guys beat me once?
Hey, I got you 2 pay-per-views ago. I got Money in the Bank.
Well, congratulations. You beat me by 1 there.
This was
This one was very close to it. It came down to the final match.
There was like a lot of it was scaling back and forth throughout the whole night, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that put a whole different spin on like the excitement for me because even though we didn't bet for anything like monetarily wise, I felt like for pride, I need to win this match. So
what's the next pay-per-view this weekekend in your house, right?
In your house next Saturday, yeah.
In your house. But as far as AEW goes, we have Fyter Fest that's going to happen sometime in the summertime. It was supposed to be announced on Dynamite as far as the exact date, but they haven't got a date yet. But that's going to be the pay-per-view rather before All Out, which is going to be the next major one. Real quickly though, Byron, you mentioned about they're not really doing with the ranking systems. I mean, I agree with you. They really should be utilizing it more as far as for the champions go. Right now, MJF is the number 1 ranked contender, really for both belts.
How are they gonna do that too? Are they gonna have 2 different brackets for that? Like, how's that gonna 2 different divisions? Like, who number 1 here, similar to like weight divisions and.
From what I'm seeing, because I'm going rankings as of this past Wednesday, it looks like as far as the single belts, it's going to be they have the 2 champions and then the top 5. Right now, MJF is the number 1 ranked contender. So yes, based off the rankings, he should have a title opportunity, but I think they're going to save that down the road. They're definitely going to say that for to me, All Out is really where you want to have that match. And for Brian Cage, I'm okay with Brian Cage winning, having a title opportunity. Number 1, he's not a WWE guy, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
And number 2, you definitely want to have contenders going for the championship, especially if you don't have Moxley plan on losing anytime soon. Brian Cage is basically going to be a placeholder for right now, a guy who Moxley can work with up until Double or Nothing. And you can go MJF against Cody or MJF even against Moxley. And
everyone's waiting for that MJF Cody match. Like that, they have to make that keep coming back.
That seems more logical too.
I'd say out of the 2, I would agree. I mean, although I'm okay with MJF being AEW World Champion. I mean, if you were to ask me that a few months ago, I probably wouldn't say not really. But given how much he's improved over the past couple months, he's ready for a world title shot.
With or without Wardlow?
With or without Wardlow?
I would say he needs Wardlow.
Big time. It makes him more heel.
It makes him even better with Wardlow.
Big time.
But I mean, overall, I would give AEW a big 2 thumbs up for me. I had a great time beginning to end. And yeah, I thought the Stadium Stampede was, as far as like cinematic matches, the best of, either Money in the Bank, the Undertaker match, and Stadium Stampede. The Stadium Stampede was leaps and bounds more entertaining than all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to say that those were bad. I just
No.
thought there was so much chaos going on during this whole match. You had the Northern Light suplex, end zone to end zone, which was awesome. You had freaking Hangman Page coming in on a horse, and then him and Jake Hager are like in the bar, like drinking, like, all right, you ready to fight? All right. And then they have a whole bar brawl. It was just a lot of fun.
I think that was the best use of their top talent too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To highlight the top guys, to put them in a cinematic match, I think was the right call. I think honestly, that match probably saved the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And then you had Omega and Matt recreate the golf cart scene.
Oh, yeah.
A while back, and it was just... Oh
and then the one-winged angel off of the fucking top of the stadium. What?
Sami Zayn's a madman. I mean, Sammy Guevara's a madman.
Yeah.
Well, both of them are, but yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Let's talk about Dynamite. What did you guys think of the
Tyson shit?
That shit was crazy, dude.
I don't get it. Like, what are they gonna do? It's kind of cringe, right? Is it me or it's pretty cringy? Because Mike is an awesome guy, and I hope he fights again. No, actually, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet. But like him as a legitimate performer, wrestling wise, and like talking even, it's just awkward. Luckily, Jericho can carry a lot of people, like what you did in that segment.
Jericho saved that segment.
It was cringe though. Like
100%.
All the UFC fighters there too. I was like,
who was the guy with the black eye paint?
Yeah, who's that? I was gonna ask you.
He's an actor, and he was trying to get himself over. Maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah,
it looked like Jericho was punching him for real.
I don't blame him.
He should have potatoed his ass, dude.
He wouldn't stay down.
He just kept getting in the way, and it was definitely getting annoying.
Even when they were trying, sorry Dick, but they were trying to get a shot of Tyson and Jericho facing off, and he was putting himself right in front of the camera, so they had to get creative with how they shot it, because this guy was just getting in the way. It was crazy.
Yeah,
he was trying to get himself over.
Yeah,
I loved that Cejudo, little short guy, probably same height as me, and he's just
shorter, bro.
Really, in the back trying to get over.
Why did they put him in the back? Was it a comedic bit, you think, to put him in the back instead of put him?
I think that guy with the eye makeup just bullied his way to the front.
Yeah, I think he just pushed him way to the front. Ooh. But I mean, you look at Tyson's entourage. I mean, he had Henry Cejudo, Rashad Evans, which they didn't mention, Vitor, Belfort.
TRT Vitor.
Yeah, that's a scary Vitor, dude.
Yeah, he was overdoing it too.
Yeah, he kind of was. I thought that segment, it definitely tried. They tried to impersonate the Austin Tyson segment, and no matter what, that's never going to be replicated. You're never going to replicate its success ever.
No.
Are they going to go to a Jericho Tyson wrestling match, or maybe a boxing match? I mean, I think something is going to happen between those. It looks like something may happen between those two.
I can see Tyson having a surrogate, maybe, but not
a surrogate, Tyson. Perhaps.
They were saying that I guess Jericho's getting a lot of heat online about for this segment, because it's just recreating what we had in the past. So it's why are you doing this? But I mean, it's wrestling. It's fun, whatever. I don't see why
angles get recycled all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
I don't understand it.
I mean, it didn't come off as good as the original segment by any means, but I mean, I understand why they're using Mike Tyson. He still has name value, and you want to try to get the most of it out while you can.
They made it to the front page of ESPN, and they had a lot of people talking about Mike Tyson being on AEW. It was a great move. Why not?
And more eyes on them.
And another thing is that Tyson, I mean, even if he doesn't do anything with AEW, I mean, there is speculation that he may end up going back into the ring, possibly with Evander Holyfield. There's been talk about maybe a third match between those two for charity.
That would be insane. Evander Holyfield I think he would die.
Yeah, he's not looking good, man.
Holyfield's 57, Tyson's 53. I mean, Tyson cosmetically looks great, but you know, is he going to be in the ring shape? You know, that's another thing.
Yeah, he can punch hard, but can he last 5 rounds? No way he's lasting 5 rounds. Not while he's smoking all that ganja.
His lungs ain't up for it, Joe.
My lungs can't do it.
But there is money to be made, though.
Give me a year. We're going home.
Yeah, so very interested to see what they do with that. Like, I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Maybe to use the free, you know, all the clout that Mike Tyson and them have, but I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. That brawl was even so cringe. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was whatever.
It definitely reminded me of old Attitude Era.
It wasn't bad, but
I don't think it was bad. I just thought like, fuck.
It's pretty WCW too. It reminded me of WCW shit. You know what I mean?
Felt like some of those guys didn't know what was going. Like they didn't give them like
training
notes or training, or they didn't really go over it at all.
Right.
Because I feel like the whole time Jericho was just trying to get Mike to remember, hey, you have to push me. So he just kept like trying to talk, and then he had other guys talking, and Jericho had to tell them to shut up because
whoa, shush. He's like
trying very hard. Yeah,
it was really crazy.
But I think the unpredictability came off. I think it made it like, oh, you know, this is real. This could be real right there.
I kept rewinding it because that guy would not stay down, and I was like, dude, Jericho's gonna fuck him up, and I kept trying to just find him in the bunch. It got so bad that Sammy Guevara just ditched his whole I'm injured angle and was running around and get on the top rope. Like I was like, oh shit, this is kind of real now.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the Inner Circle can make fun of themselves. I really want one of those Stadium Stampede Championship T-shirts that they made. I really want one of those.
That was fun.
They are 50% off at ProWrestlingTees.com.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Nice plug.
I need one.
Dude,
yeah, we need to get a Pro Wrestling Tee store, dude.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
What else happened on Dynamite that you guys really liked?
FTR. That was fun.
Shit, we got to talk about FTR.
Come on. That's like the biggest thing. I was waiting for you guys to talk about this.
I totally forgot about it. There's so much going on. It was the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy versus Private Party and
Janela.
Enjoy Janela. And there was a lot that happened during that match as well. And I mean, the icing on the cake was definitely FTR making their debut. But it just seemed like there was just a lot going on with the match. The dives outside, the interference from
sure.
It was definitely a spot. It was definitely spot fest for sure. And then also with the interference from the Butcher and the Blade as well. There's just a lot going on. It was pretty crazy. The ending, it seemed like it was kind of like, I don't know. It just seemed like there was too much chaos. But I think it was Quinn that got hurt, and that left Cassidy alone. Bucks finished him off with more bang for your buck. And as Hardy takes him to the ring, or takes him away from the ring, that's when the Butcher and Blade came out, attacked the Bucks, and then we see like this debut of FTR coming in with the truck, and then just going to the ring and just handling business.
If there was a legit audience there, that roof would have got blown off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The pop would have been so loud, man.
I mean, even the wrestlers started a holy shit chant, and they weren't told by WWE to do that either.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. And I wonder if they're gonna make a whole faction with the Butcher and the Blade and FTR. Like, I don't know.
Well, didn't FTR attack? FTR attacked the Butcher and the Blade.
They attacked them. Then they laid them
did?
out.
I didn't. Yeah, I guess I missed that.
Yeah, but they definitely sold it in the beginning. Like, whose side are they on? We're eventually going to get the Bucks versus the Revival.
Yeah, I mean,
I cannot wait for that.
Sweet.
Give it to me at Fyter Fest.
They should not do this match on Dynamite or even on Fyter Fest. I think that it should I mean, to me, I think they should save it for All Out. But All Out's not going to be for another 3+ months.
Yeah, All Out would be good. Because that's like the number 3 show, right?
All Out?
Major pay-per-view for AEW, right?
Yeah.
All In.
All Out's number 1.
All Out.
Double or Nothing's probably number 2. And yeah, I mean, All Out, because that's where AEW was essentially born.
Yeah.
What's AEW's equivalent to WrestleMania?
I would say All Out. All In, All Out, because that's the first one. That's the first one in the company.
Yeah. What else do we got, guys? Because we're kind of running low on time.
I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the Britt Baker segment, the role model of Britt Baker.
I kind of didn't like it. It kind of went on too long for me.
It was fine, long, but it was funny.
I liked it because she definitely came off as just unbearable, and you feel bad for Rebel because she's just there putting up with Britt's verbal abusive behavior, and really Tony Schiavone as well.
Yeah, and the conspiracy against Aubrey Edwards is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to me.
I liked it.
So funny, man. I love it.
They definitely parody Pepe Sylvia.
Sylvia.
With the backdrop. And what she said, she was listing all of her injuries and saying that Aubrey Edwards was there. And then she finally gets to broken nose. Aubrey was somewhere.
Yeah.
And I died. I was like, oh my God, like this, it was that.
It didn't fit her narrative. So she's like, well, she must have been somewhere.
Yes, exactly. And then when Rebel was pushing Britt to the back, you could see on her wheelchair, it says role model, ROLL model. I died.
Yeah. It's the little things. And I think AEW does that better than anybody, is really the attention to detail on some of their stuff in ring and during promos is great. And considering the promos are not scripted, is really cool. I really like the MJF promo on Cody. When he
he was taking a shot at it. He was taking a shot at him, saying he didn't come from a different promotion to get to win a championship, but MJF did come from a different promotion. He came from MLW, but I mean, what he meant by that was like not WWE.
Yeah, and not a main WWE.
Yeah, I mean that's an indie as fuck. It's a baby.
I thought I had a really good time during the Battle Royal too. I thought the Battle Royal was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of interconnecting storylines with it. I thought the right person did win. I think Jungle Boy was a great. I mean, because Cody's not going to lose that belt anytime soon, and the idea for Cody to defend it on TNT on Dynamite is a good idea. It's kind of like It's like the workhorse belt. It's like the IC belt or the US belt. You want to have a secondary champion where you can have more matches on the show.
Yeah, he said he's going to defend it every week.
Yeah, and Jungle Boy's a perfect first opponent for him.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I see you wrote in the note, but I noticed it too. JR kept calling Sunny Kiss she.
Did you guys catch that? Because
I did.
Okay, because I'm like, wait a minute, like is JR messing up, or like is he like I don't know, like because that
could be it, honestly.
I think so.
He's definitely a he. He's just a little flamboyant.
Yes.
Or maybe, who knows? What if he or she is not wanting to be that? Yeah.
That could be.
I know. Excalibur was trying to cover up for it. He kept saying, "Oh, Sunny Kiss, he's so great." But yeah,
I'm gonna bow out of this one and say I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
And JR did call MJF a dick, even though he kept saying Richard, and then he said Dick. I mean Richard.
Oh yeah, and then I automatically thought of you when he said that.
Yeah.
He's definitely being a Richard right now.
And it's like you could say Dick on TV. I mean,
yeah.
I liked the Cage thing and Taz. Taz is the perfect mouthpiece for him. It was.
I seen a lot of people comparing it to Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
I mean, it is. I mean, he is. I like that someone posted a meme saying, "Mom, I want Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. We have Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman at home. Paul Heyman and Lesnar at home." And it's Cage and Taz.
But I mean, it's not like what's his name? Bobby the Brain was managing Andre the Giant for a time. Managers are a thing that have happened before in the past.
I love it. He's such a good mouthpiece for him. I don't know if Cage can talk. I don't think he can.
I think in TNA he was talking pretty good.
Yeah,
he was talking, not as much. I'm fine with it. I think it's a great way to have these legends in these roles, in these coaching / manager roles. I think it's perfect.
It's the machine and the human suplex machine. I mean, it's good. I'm all for it.
And then his finishing move, they called it the drill claw.
Yeah, no,
Steiner screwdriver.
It's been the drill cloth for a while, but yeah, it's a Steiner
been for
driver.
a while.
I love it.
Scariest. That's the scariest fucking move in
It's
history.
fucking. It looks so
fuck
scary,
yeah.
dude.
Dude. Yeah.
You're gonna kill somebody. But I think it's a perfect thing. It's a great setup. He's such a monster, and I made him look so strong, which is good. Like, let's not play around. Let's make him look strong.
I said during Double or Nothing that Luchasaurus versus Brian Cage looks like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh man, yes.
I thought that was a perfect analogy. I thought it was
speaking of Luchasaurus, I'm glad you brought it up during the Battle Royal. You see him and Billy Gunn when they're going at it, when they were staring each other down. Billy Gunn's a big dude.
Billy Gunn's a big motherfucker, dude.
He's a big guy. Like,
He's a monster.
I mean, he's big wide-wise, but I mean, like, tall. He was just as tall as Luchasaurus.
He's taking those.
Did you see when they played Billy Gunn's music on the Tron? It looked like DX Jace, where it was just like green lines and it was like bumping like the DX logo.
No,
does
I didn't notice that.
in their Tron. Go back and watch it. I noticed that. But yeah, that was pretty much the week in wrestling. Do you guys have anything extra to add?
No, I guess we'll talk about Undertaker's thing when it's all done, but it's pretty damn good, man. That guy, the behind the scenes gives me goosebumps. Like, I'm living in those moments, even though some of those moments are shitty at real time. But like, yeah.
It really opens your eyes to how much this guy wants to end on a high note.
Right.
You know, he knows it's coming close, but every time he thinks I'm going to be good to go, he either gets a short match or he gets concussed or something happens, freak accident that he's not prepared for. And Shawn Michaels said it. He's like an addict chasing the dragon, trying to get that high again. I don't know.
And there's levels to this. There's a reason why Undertaker is this big of an icon. You know, it's not an accident, really. So
yeah,
he said that he was the last kayfabe. He was the last guy to be kayfabe, like his character.
Yeah, and now that's gone. But
yeah,
Undertaker never broke character. He's always in character, and I don't like that they are breaking up the series so much. I don't think we're getting another episode for like 2 weeks.
Yee. That's long.
I didn't know that.
it's only 5 episodes, though.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
It
that's
is
why.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like documentaries go, this is probably the best documentary that WWE's ever done. It's so eye-opening, and you see Taker opening up like he's never opened up before. This guy he has a great memory. He very fondly remembers things that happened. And then he did a side interview with ESPN. They were interviewing him. There's clips of it online, but there were two things one thing I wanted to mention was that they asked him about his match with Hogan back in '91, and the story that goes around was that Hogan had hurt his neck, and he had told Taker, "Hey, just be careful. Whatever you do, like, don't drop me on my neck." And Taker's like, fine with it. Like, I'm okay with it. And after the match was over, Hogan was lying in Vince's office, and he was complaining about neck problems. And he kind of alluded to the fact that Taker may have dropped him on his head.
Oh, that shit was hilarious, though. That whole segment.
Yeah, the whole segment. And then when him and Paul Bearer were watching the match back, they were looking like, dude, we weren't even close to dropping her. He was like 6 inches off the ground. Like, I mean, it was, of all the tombstones that Taker's given over the years, that was definitely one of the safest ones because he took care of Hogan and he wasn't even close to the ground.
6 inches, that's like an average penis, dude.
Right.
Not a Hulk Hogan penis. That thing is fucking gigantic.
True Facts 101.
Well, his real name is Mark, and we're all Marks too.
Yes. What a great way to end the show. That's going to be the title of the episode. I need to go and watch that. You said that's on ESPN?
Yeah. Well, no. The interview's on YouTube. There's bits and clips of it up on YouTube.
Hogan faked that injury the whole time too. That shit is you got to watch it. It's hilarious, dude. It makes you think like
Taker was legitimately concerned because he thought like he hurt him. And Taker's whole MO was like throughout his career, he's never really put anyone. He never really injured anyone aside Mick Foley because that's something a little different. But still, he prided himself in not hurting anyone, and he really thought he hurt Hogan, and then come to realize, hey, wait a minute, I never did anything to you like that.
That's Hogan politicking, brother.
What I want to know is I wish they asked him about the second match that he had with Hogan, because it looked like Taker was not very happy with that match at all. If he thought he wasn't happy with the first time he wrestled Hogan, the second time he wrestled him, he was pissed.
Well, I'm excited to see that Bill Simmons podcast he was on too. He talks about his greatest matches, and Bill Simmons goes in. And I love seeing non-kayfabe Taker too. So we're getting a whole new world right now. So yeah,
I wonder if are on this documentary, are they gonna go? They're not gonna go back to like the past at all. This is all just like his last ride, like his last few matches.
Basically,
I would love to talk about, you know, him and Paul Bear back in the day, and you know, him coming up and like you know, debut of the Survivor Series, and you know, the whole thing of the Undertaker. You know. Yes, exactly.
how they came up with the idea of the Undertaker.
Yeah, the whole package. I would love to talk about that. I'd love to talk about some of his matches.
They did mention very quickly about
Attitude
Montreal.
Era.
They did mention very quickly about Montreal in that interview he did with ESPN. So I thought that was a great watch as well. One thing I've always wanted to hear from Taker, and it's been reported by several other wrestlers, was WrestleMania 14, where there were reports that Shawn wasn't going to do the job to Austin, and that Taker was at the gorilla position waiting for when Shawn comes back, and that if he wasn't going to do the right move, he was going to have a few words with him with his fist.
Oh shit!
I want to hear Taker's side of that story, because Cornette had mentioned in a shoot interview that Taker was there at the gorilla position waiting for Shawn to come back, and
he was like taping up his fists, right?
Yeah, taping up his fist, saying, you know, getting ready, saying if Shawn better do the right thing, and that was to drop the belt to Austin that night, and that if he didn't, he was going to use those fists. Luckily, that didn't happen, and Taker had not done anything. But I wanted to hear Taker's side of that story.
Wait, so Shawn Michaels was going to get these hands?
If he didn't drop the belt to Austin.
Dang. I would not want to be on the wrong side of The Undertaker. That's for damn sure.
You got to remember, Shawn Michaels, 98, 97, that was he was at his peak dickness.
Yeah. Peak Richardness.
Peak Richardness. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was when he was popping the pills and, you know, not giving a fuck about what he did on TV.
No.
It's live. What are they going to do to me? You guys got anything else to add before we wrap this thing up?
No. I think we're good. Just take care of each other, everybody. Right now is a crazy time.
Yes. Right now, we've been living in weird times, and things are just getting really crazy right now. People are frustrated, rightfully so, with police brutality, high unemployment rate. It's just a lot of factors going into it. A lot of frustration, a lot of anger.
There's still a virus that can kill us one by one.
Right, yeah. Or spread.
And we're still going through the virus as well. It's crazy. Just like Byron said, just take care of each other and be safe.
And masturbate. Yes. It helps.
And listen to the podcast. Yeah. That would probably release some tension. Just season the tension, baby. Season the tension.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you so much for listening, downloading, subscribing, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling everybody you know to listen to the Put Me Over podcast. We are the new world order of professional podcasting, and we will see you next time. Hour 23.